Everyone looks a little exhausted at this point, I must admit. Having come off a plane only 24, 48 hours ago from Canada, I can empathize with all of you. So welcome again, and it's a real pleasure for both myself, DuPont, and our business partners that I'll introduce later, to have this opportunity to speak with you. I will say that while we have been in this business for many, many years, providing additives to polymers, in fact, as I shared with someone my first day on the job 30 plus years ago with this company was, in fact, meeting in the plastics space in North America. I will think this is probably the first time this particular business unit of DuPont has spoken to this audience. So, and Dilip, I think you confirm that. I will say that perhaps some of this information is going to be somewhat repetitive, but I hope you will find the opportunity to refresh what you already know, and then in the course of the rest of the day, perhaps ask some questions of us if we bring something to your mind that interests you. I will say it's also for me personally a real pleasure to be back in India. For the last 5 years I've led this particular business in India, but now I have returned to Canada, so every time I come back and get off the plane, it is feeling a little bit like coming home, if I may say. So thank you very much. My intention is to really address a couple of issues. DuPont and Dow are in the process of a major merger, which is going to have clear impact in the space of chemistry and technology going forward, and I'd like to speak a little bit to that. I'd like also to talk a little bit about what we call nutrition and health. And this may not be a surprise to you, but as you will see the technology we speak about, it has applications far beyond what we do in plastic and additives. We'll talk a little bit about our chemistry, our glycerol monostearate chemistry, and what we can do with green, sustainable food-grade products in developing solutions for you going forward. I'll give a couple of examples of some of our technology and some of the new areas that we're looking at, and then I'll draw some conclusions. I'm quite sure I'll get this done in the time allotted. I'm very sure. I'll just check on that. Yes. Two very old companies, probably both individually well known to many, if not all of you, Dow and DuPont. I would hope that when you think of those companies, the first thing that might come to your mind is innovation, and we heard earlier about innovation, and I think both companies have over their years strived to be as innovative as they possibly could in looking for solutions in the various industry sectors. For reasons that are not relevant to this discussion today, the two boards of that company have agreed that they should be merged together to form one company. That merger has received approvals across the world, and as my colleagues at DuPont know, we are in the process of that re-engineering of our organization. What will happen as we come out of it is in a period of about 12 to 18 months, there will be 3 new companies formed from this merger: an agriculture company, a materials science company, and a specialty products company. Very briefly, the agricultural company will be something that was a part of the original idea, really, for the merger. With revenues in excess of $14 billion US dollars, it is a company that will be strongly based with a wide range of products that also impact here on the Indian market, and also some solutions in the areas of crop protection, which will be relevant in terms of farmer livelihood and incomes. The material science business is something perhaps a little more familiar to the audience in this room. It includes a number of technology platforms as listed here, in addition to some world-class capabilities which are known I imagine, to many of you. This business is a $40 billion business going forward. Interestingly enough, it will be headquartered in the Dow headquarters in Midland, Michigan, going forward. The next is the business to which my colleagues and I will slide into, the specialty co-business. Now, at first look, each of these businesses have what appears to be very little in common. In reality, they have one very unique opportunity, and that is that they are expected to grow beyond what the market will do around the world. So there is likely to be investment in each of these business sectors, and that is what really characterizes them as far as their combination inside of this company. It is the space that the nutrition and biosciences business is located, and it is in fact the DuPont Nutrition and Health business that I have led over these past years here in India and that I will now be speaking about. As other companies have probably discovered, technology, for one, is an opportunity for another. And the root, if you will, of the additive business within DuPont's nutrition and health space has in fact been its intimate awareness and understanding of the manufacturing of food products. We take that very seriously because we, as consumers, take very seriously what we consume, and we want very much to have packaging that presents the product that we are about to consume in the best possible positioning when we're looking at it on shelves or however we may do our purchasing, whether it be in my home country of Canada or in this beautiful country, India. This is really one of the key, if you will, DNA of why we are in this business, is we have found that our customers are demanding that solutions that we provide are safe, sustainable, and effective, and the business of emulsifiers sitting inside the nutrition and health meets all of these criterion. Other speakers today have talked about their business units, not so important, but emulsifiers is one of the oldest businesses sitting inside of nutrition and health. Goes back well over 75 years, was originally housed in a factory, as you see here, in Grindsted, Denmark. So our roots are also Scandinavian, and Grindsted is still home to one of our largest factories. We really do apply manufacturing 4.0. We truly do apply the highest of process parameters in the production of our products. We are the largest global producer of food-grade glycerol esters, and we have another very key part of our relationship, which we hope to bring to you, which is a close working with our customers. This gives us extensive application knowledge, which we can bring forward in solving future solutions. We have a global production presence. What this really means to you is, one, we have products from multiple locations all meeting the same specifications when and if we should need to deliver such products in cases of emergencies. Moreover, we have invested heavily in the Asia-Pacific region with 2 factories, one in China, one in Malaysia. And at any point in time, any of these factories shown could be supplying products into the Indian market. Each of them will have unique capabilities that may allow for them to be selected as the plant of choice for your needs. The Penang factory in particular is probably our most sophisticated factory, and as I'll highlight some of the different chemistries that we can produce, This is where a lot of what we offer today is coming from into this market. Why? Why am I here? Why are we standing in front of you and trying to interest you in what we do? It's largely because of what you see here. We believe in green chemistry. We believe that this surface active material, glycerol ester, has a very unique position for anti-stat, mold-released additives, and bio-based plasticizers. They're highly efficient with high degree of toxicological safety and sustainability. And here we think about the owners of the products in the food and medical supply space that rely very heavily on the equity of their brand and the ability of their brand to sustain any questions coming from you, the consumers. We believe that our solutions and our factories are able to meet those requirements. And we operate within all with all regulations, with no restrictions when it comes to these additives. How shall I put this? Many years ago, I studied chemistry at university. Some of you here have many more skills than I do, but I'll try to give a very brief description of the products that we talk about. No apologies for the simplicity of it. We start, of course, basically with glycerol, a natural byproduct of soap production and other materials, and we combine it with different fats. Very simple. We interesterify it, and we get a combination. Often when people speak in general terms about GMS, this is exactly what they're talking about. It's a real combination product of mono, di, and triglycerides, usually in the ratio of 40%, 40%, 20%, but different ratios can take place. Many producers take one step further through distillation, eliminate the di and triglycerides, and have a distilled monoglyceride. This is a product of choice that we have tried to position, as others do, for application in this space. What we do further, though, is we can start playing, and we start playing with chain length. So we look at different carbon lengths, going all the way down to C12 up to C22. The more standard would be C18, C16. And this we can find gives very unique properties. We can change the saturation. The example here is a fully saturated molecule. We can take out one or other of the hydrogen bonding and create unsaturated double bonds. This creates different properties, also different migration within the plastic. We can polymerize the glycerol, put different numbers of units. This has application when we get into different mold release properties. And finally, we can esterify. And when we talk a little bit about the product Soft and Safe in a moment, this is an example of where we've esterified our molecule to give a bio-stabilizer. What we're offering in the space, anti-static and mold release agents. In particular, we're looking to bring amine-free solutions, and I'll talk about that in a moment, covering both short-term and long-term non-dust attraction. Anti-fog agents, again, both short and long-term, both cold and hot, used in food packaging and greenhouse films. We also bring technology for use in the reactors of polymer plants, where we take and we apply materials as anti-fouling agents to prevent buildup. We have coating agents for expandable polystyrene, anti-static and stabilizing agents that improve the processability of the EPS beads. And then, as I repeat, the bio-based plasticizer carrier system, soft and safe, which is used as a replacement for phthalates in different applications. For the group and audience in here today, most of what we would speak about would be in the anti-static, mold, and anti-fog categories. Now I'd like to give some examples of some technology that we have. And here we have run some very different tests on different monosterate products. This is a static decay test. There are different tests that can be run. This effectively takes a 1 millimeter plate, it's conditioned, a charge of 5,000 volts is put across the plate, and you measure in seconds the time to dissipate to 500 or a 10% cutoff point. You can see that over a period of time, extending out to well over 200 days, monosterates, as has been well documented, have a functionality. Because a large part of what we try to look at are the distilled monoglycerides, we have taken note that the monodi-tristerate products 40 and 60 have some effect that is not necessarily seen in the distilled. So we took a test with pure glycerol disterate to see whether that was one of the contributing factors in the performance of the monosterate. As you can see, no effect was found with the disterate. So the reasons for the performance of the mono 40 and 60 are unique to their particular chemistry, and we haven't found the solution for that. One area that we do look for the distilleds to have distinct advantage would be in the mold release applications. Here you see at different threshold levels of additive, up to 0.4%, 4,000 ppm, we are seeing clear improvements in terms of mold release. This is a simple test, which I'm sure is familiar to you. We're just looking at the reduction in force to eject a cup from a mold that has been prepared for that application. So we see that distilled monoglycerides, in addition to the anti-static properties we just saw, provide also very good mold release properties and offer unique solutions. The other opportunity is to change the physical form of the monoglycerides. Typical product is shown on the left as a fine sprayed powder, and that product is what is normally found in the market today. The product on the right has been pelletized and is offered in this market here in India. Advantages are in terms of loading to eliminate bridging, elimination of dust, and there may be other benefits that we can see as we start applying them. Amine and amine-free products. More and more around the world, and I believe it's true here in India, the use of certain types of anti-stats like ethoxylated amines, diethanolamides, are being frowned upon by consumers, and people are looking for food-grade alternatives. Such an opportunity exists with a PGE 308, a product which has, as I mentioned before, a multiple number of glycerol units and a particular fatty acid length to give this particular performance. This test is, again, a static decay 10% cutoff at 50% relative humidity. And you can see that over close to 200 days, there is good performance with this product at all levels. The advantages are it's a single additive, it's thermostable, and it is long-lasting. We do the same by reducing the relative humidity. This may not be as relevant in India. I do understand you speak of higher RH in many of the conversations my colleagues are having. But some of you may be exporting. Some of you may be looking to open up into markets, and this is quite relevant in some of the northern markets where you get down to 12%. As you see, loading levels are higher than in the previous example, almost double what they were previously. But you can see that there's still, over the time period, good effect in terms of eliminating of static buildup. So we feel here we have a solution that can be applied. This particular example is in LDPE, as was the previous one. Something that's probably as old as I am, but the application for anti-fog. And here we speak of clarity, and what we're showing is right now this is an old ICI test, I believe, but this is showing a cold fog application and the different scoring that is applied, ranging from excellent down to unacceptable. If there's any questions on the test method, we can talk about it later. I don't imagine there will be. But here we have an unsaturated product, so we take that saturated triglyceride that I spoke about earlier, saturated linear monoglyceride, I'm sorry, and we take out one or two of the carbon, and put double bonds in, and we see that we have developed a very efficient anti-fog agent spread out over a number of days after production in excess of 1 year, all at about 2,000 ppm loading. This guarantees high performance across a number of different applications, particularly in film and packaging film. This is Homo PP. Again, it's a film at 20 microns with 1% loading. This is a hot fog application. And again, it's showing excellent results recorded at different time points and over a number of days. And then finally, a product for cold fog PP. Similar results, more difficult in the cold fog application. No bloom is evidenced, but we're maintaining transparency in the film over much of the test period. A little bit on the technology is what I've shared, a little bit about the company. That doesn't really give much of a reason yet to say why DuPont in this particular space. We hope we have addressed a little bit of that by selecting our channel partner in India, the Giriraj Group. Mr. Shah is sitting at a table over there. He is perhaps well known to many of you, and they are going to be representing us in this space going forward. And so many of the commercial discussions that you will have will be with the Giriraj Group. If you don't know, as I say, you can find him definitely at our table. But we're very pleased to have a good channel partner. That's very important in terms of how we go to market. We believe that getting the right people in front of the customer is part of the solution. I would say in conclusion, I want to let my hair down a bit. We're going through a process of change, but business will be as usual for DuPont Nutrition and Health. Nothing will change, and in fact, I think what will change will be more for the positive in terms of what our products can do and what new technologies we can imagine. We need to sit down with you as manufacturers, master batch producers, and understand what your needs are and see where our solutions will be. We are new for you in this market, and we're new to the Indian market, although we've been, as DuPont and also as NNH, many years in India. So we have some things to learn, we admit that. But I think you'll find us very studious and very willing to cooperate and understand your needs and move forward. We do know that as your regulations evolve, both here in India, but as your markets expand overseas, we know that brand owners are creating a push for efficient, safe, and sustainable solutions, and we'll definitely be there to provide those products for you. Standard GMS has proven its value and will continue doing so. But as you have seen, next generation glycerol esters can be and are the answer to increased efficiency, safety, and sustainability demand. In conclusion, we look forward to working together with you in the years to come. We thank you for allowing me to stand here for the last few minutes. Look forward to any questions. Otherwise, wish you a very good afternoon. Thank you very much.